Wow, what a night of rugby league that was, and especially for my Warriors taking down the Seagulls against all the odds. It felt like everyone had written them off, even though a few people still had the faith. They've beaten Manly by 20 points, which just feels unreal. And I may or may not have looked up some flights to Sydney around October this year. I'll leave that up to you to work out. Anyway, let's talk some fantasy here. Starting at the top, we've got Wade Egan, who's put up 73 points with a try. And the key here is that he has played 80 minutes again, and he looked really good. Now, Egan is one where he definitely had some value in him, but the question was, is he going to get the 80 minutes? Aaron Clark on the bench can fill in at hooker. It was always a bit of an unknown, and with the Warriors' early bye in round 5, it was probably one that we'd just want to take a look at and see how he goes, and we are seeing that he's going quite well. So he's definitely one to keep on your watch list here, because if he stays at the 80 minutes, historically he will average sort of, I would say, between 48 and 52. And if we look at what he's priced at now, 42, and he'll be rising about 40k, so he'll probably be priced around that 44, 45 point mark. So yeah, the thing is, with Egan, he's probably one that jumping on now you may have missed the boat. So if you did start with him, if you're in that 5%, very nice pick there. But my advice would be possibly don't jump on now. You know, he looked very good this game, but we play the Roosters next week, who also played very well. So I don't think he's obviously not going to score a try every week. 41 tackles and 143 run meters, very nice. He's definitely not going to get those run meters every week. So yeah, I'd be looking at about a 48 to 52 average there. Probably not enough value to jump on, but if you really did like how he looked, then definitely someone to consider for next week. And here's the big one, Luke Metcalf, against all the odds, puts down a 64 pointer. Boy, I was at the game, I was screaming my guts out. I ended up holding him, and that was just, it felt so good knowing that a lot of people had traded him out to Humphreys. So 64 points in this one, quite a few attacking stats. So you got the try, the 6 goals, and 2 try assists. So unfortunately that is not going to happen every week. And if you did sell him, I wouldn't be too upset about it, because this is a very rare occasion for the Warriors. We're definitely not going to be putting teams away like this every week. But if we look at the base here, just 9 tackles, but I would put that down to us having a bit more possession than usual. So I'd say he'd be looking at maybe 15 tackles a game with maybe an extra 1 or 2 missed. The run meters is a little bit low as well, but the kick meters is the part that is it's impressive, because what we were projecting him is about that 200 to 300 mark, which is it adds that 5 or 6 points on to his projected average, which I sort of talked about in the Jamie Humphreys and Luke Metcalf analysis video from a couple days ago. But yeah, look, I think if you held, then that's great. Now you can feel better about holding, and if you sold him, I would definitely not be looking to jump back on him straight away. I think, playing the Roosters next week, I would project him to score, low 40s, and you've got to stick with it. We got to see how Humphreys goes, but with Metcalf, I'd be waiting till at least after the bye and then reassessing. So he's got the Roosters and then the Tigers, and then from there we can sort of make a decision on what we're going to think he's going to average from then on, and that's what I'd be doing there. Now, James Fisher-Harris, this is one I feel like I might have missed, because his PPM over the first 2 games has been right up there at 1 ppm, and he got big minutes today, and I feel like this is going to be fairly normal. I'd project him to be getting 55 to 60 minutes a game, and he'll be averaging in the low 50s there. So I think he'd be currently priced at around 45. And look, if you have him, that's great. But I'm not too sure if there's enough value to be jumping on now, especially with the bye in round 5. But definitely, if you jumped on, that's great. His base of 40 tackles, 130 run meters, solid as it gets. So yeah, if you jumped on him, hold strong. I think good things are going to come your way. Jason Saab, yeah, his speed was burning to a picky out on the wing. He's definitely not going to score this every week, but yeah, not very relevant, this guy. But if you do own him, 3% do. Hold on. Manly have a couple home games coming up, so yeah, I'd be holding there. But definitely don't chase these points. You can ignore Saab there. Harris Tavita, now, he also scored a try and had his fair share of the kick meters, made his tackles, bit of run meters there. He was one where in another season where we had less rookie halves in our team, he definitely would have been one to look at, and it's unfortunate because it would have been, he's scored well. He's averaging 44 right now, and that's way above his price. I think he's only priced at like 26, 27. So yeah, it's just unfortunate, and I don't really think you can jump on him now because I would project him to average around the 36 point mark, and considering he'll be priced at around 29, 30 upon lockout, there's just probably not enough value there, and we just have too many halves anyway. So yeah, one for another season. Lehigh Habuate, a very solid game. A lot of run meters here, 240, but another one where he was priced at what he averaged at fullback last season. Priced at around 40 points. So he's just one that you could ignore, just like Saab, and hopefully he can drop some value during the season, and we might be able to look at him then. Tuapiki, sort of the same story, priced at his fullback average, scored a try, had some nice tackle breaks in there. Run meters are a little bit of a concern when we had all that possession, but yeah, he looked really solid. But I just don't think he's one to be looking at here. Just, typical winger, scores a try, gets a good score, but he's not going to be doing that every week. So yeah, I'd be avoiding him. Paseka is one that I've actually picked up in a few drafts because I noticed he played big minutes last week, and he's backed that up again with 55 minutes. I think he played, let's see what he did last week, 53 last week into 55. Now he's one priced at 36, and then his break-even's 28, so he'll go up another 15-ish K, so he'll be priced around 37, 38. He's definitely a sneaky little option there. Probably wouldn't go there, but yeah, he's definitely one to just take a look at, and if you do play draft, could be a sneaky pickup as well. But yeah, getting a little bit bigger minutes than last season, I think. If we just have a quick look here, yeah, he averaged 48, but the thing is, averaged 37 in 48 minutes, probably one that you can just avoid, and he's just had a few high PPM games. But yeah, one to keep a little note of there. Ali Tower scored a nice try with a 44, but just the fact that he started at 500k, if you did jump on, you'd be hoping when he scores a try, he'd be scoring in the 50s at least. But if you did jump on, you probably may have sold him already. But yeah, one to just ignore for now, as he's just a bit too expensive for the output that you're going to get long term. Bench Bojovic played the 80 minutes. I saw Corey Riddell card in hand coming on, and I assumed Berber was going to be coming off, but it wasn't to be. Came on, played in the middle, so this could be the way going forward here. Bojovic getting 80 minutes, so there definitely could be a little bit of value in him there. Yeah, so he's going to go up about 13k. Let's see what he's priced at. Berbo. Priced at 31, so it's a tricky one because everyone's probably got a little bit of PTSD from just his negative stats last season. He'd been missing a lot of tackles and whatnot, but with a full preseason under his belt, um, he might have improved. But I just noticed he's missed 6 tackles in the first game. But someone to consider that you'd be plugging into your centres, but it just doesn't feel like we can fit him in with all the other centres that we've got. But definitely a player with a bit of value. Now, Cherry Evans, he came off early with some back spasms, didn't play the last 7 minutes. I recall saying in my Who's Hot, Who's Not video to avoid buying Cherry Evans, as a few people were buying him. So hopefully you took that advice, and it paid off because he scored just the 43 with a try. We saw Luke Brooks take a lot of kick meters here, more than Cherry Evans is usually doing. Before Brooks came along, so yeah, Cherry Evans, I don't think he's going to miss any time, as back spasms aren't really a long-term thing, unless they linger. But yeah, I would just be ignoring Cherry Evans for now and hope that he can drop some cash. Now, Mitch Barnett, he's one that owners may be slightly concerned at, given the 60 minutes and just the 41 points. But I think you can be happy that the coach has given him the warranted minutes here, and it's a more low PPM game. He didn't have any attacking stats here, no tackle breaks, no offloads, and he does have both of those in his game. So I feel like with Barnett, I'd probably be holding here. Like, if you've jumped on for a reason. You thought he'd be getting those minutes, and he definitely should be getting 60 minutes a game. I'd say that's what he's going to be averaging. So you got to take the highs with the lows here, and I would be holding. Now, Aaron Clark, 45 minutes here. I just don't think he's worth looking at. I think 45 minutes is going to be about what he gets every week. I think he may have come off with a hip pointer, so he could have had a few extra minutes. But yeah, PPM solid, but I just don't think, considering he's priced at around 36, let's have a look here, 35, so potentially 5 points of value, which is just not enough for trading in. So yeah, I would be ignoring Aaron Clark. If you did own him though, I'd definitely be holding into the buy. It's seeming like Webster is happy to leave him out there for a solid amount of time in the game, and he looks pretty solid as well. Makes some strong carries. I think he will definitely get a barge over try a couple times this season. So yeah, expect some good numbers from him. Now, RTS scored a try. Solid. He always looks really good on the field, but sometimes his fantasy points don't reflect that. But yeah, 40 points, solid, backs up his solid score from last week. He's a tricky one because he is quite expensive for a player that's going to probably get you low 40 point scores. But yeah, definitely wouldn't be buying him, and I think you can hold him. The jewel is handy, so yeah, I would probably hold him and not look to sell just yet. Bullymore, 40 points in 44 minutes. I seem to recall he played big minutes last week as well, so he'll definitely be making a bit of money. But I just don't think this is one you can get on. He may have covered extra minutes due to the injury to Trebojevic. I'm not too sure, but Aloye and Sipley both played lower minutes than what you would have expected. So this could change every week, and it's just not a player I'd be looking to jump on due to that unknown minutes sort of role. Capewell, very stock standard game, 39 and 80 minutes. Very irrelevant player. Don't even give him an ounce of looking. Jackson Ford, back to the bench this week, just played the 32 minutes, had a very high PPM, but just like Capewell, just ignore him. He is not relevant at that price. Ruben Garrick, a little less points than owners would have probably wanted, me being one of them, but I'm absolutely okay with that in a game where Manly had a lot less possession than you would have expected. Turbo was making errors. Garrick was, he wasn't that involved. He got a nice try assist there. Missed an absolute shocker of a conversion, almost from right in front. But yeah, run meter's down a bit. But apart from that, the base is kind of there, and I would not be panicking at all. Manly have some home games coming up, and he usually plays average better at home. But I believe Garrick does average around 55. But that's when Trbojevic is playing, which may not be the case. He could be out, but we still don't know yet. But yeah, anyway, with Garrick, don't buy, don't sell, hold. Strong hold. Jake Trbojevic got sin-binned here, 34 points in 70 minutes. I don't think anyone really owns him. But yeah, just like Capewell and Ford, just one that I'd be ignoring. And yeah, not relevant these days. Luke Brooks, about the same, not very relevant. 32 in the 80, priced above 32. Just one that I would not be looking at right now. Same as Chance, actually, 31 in 80 minutes. He seems to be starting off the season a little bit quieter than usual. So he could be one middle of the season where he's dropped another 100k, and he could be one to pick up over the Origin period when the Warriors have a little boost usually. But yeah, one I'd just be ignoring for now. Olakuatu definitely cooled his jets after last week, after trampling Jackson Purdue. Didn't do much trampling this week. No tackle breaks. Chanel Harris-Davida had him on lock. Just the 27 points in 80 minutes. You can see just base stats, and he's missed 7 tackles somehow. Didn't even realise that until now, but wow. 27 points. Now, if you're an owner, it is concerning, but this is probably the lowest he's going to score all year. I wouldn't be panicking at all. Olakuatu is not the most consistent player, but that, as we saw last week, he can go absolutely ballistic and score you high 60s. And once again, you've just got to take the highs with the lows. And just like Metcalf, Olakuatu is a player, you picked him for a reason, and do not panic sell him no matter what. That he is a definite hold for me. Niokore, extremely irrelevant, just playing 60 minutes on the edge, and he's probably... I'm not the biggest fan of him as a Warriors fan. Always seems to just have an error and a penalty in his game. I thought he made some decent line runs today, but yeah, fantasy-wise, just don't even look at him. Jazz Tavanga, if you did start with him, you'd be very disappointed with this. He's throwing himself into tackles and falling off. Sort of like the Jazz of old, where he just doesn't have the attacking stats to back it up. No offloads and tackle breaks anymore. So Jazz is one I would be looking to sell. Just jump on a cheapie that you missed, and yeah, I guess not many people own him, but I have seen him in a few teams. But yeah, I'd be looking to jump off before he sheds too much cash. Aloye, very irrelevant. Don't worry about him. Same as Sipley. These two guys just don't look at the Manly prop rotation. It's never much value in there. Tom Trbojevic, this is the big news. So came off with 14 minutes to go with tightness. I'm not too sure if it's been confirmed yet as hamstring tightness, but I'm sure that's what it was. Although we should wait for confirmation. If he does miss time, I would be holding. As long as it's... I wouldn't hold him any longer than 3 weeks, but even if he was out for 3 weeks, trading him to Ponga would feel very tempting right now, but Tom, as we all know, he can score 150 points in a game, so yeah, it's tough. Initial thoughts is I don't think he's going to miss too much time, so I think I would be holding. But he could easily have had a huge score tonight. If you didn't watch the game, he has the 4 errors here, and on another day, 3 of them were in try-scoring areas. He could have had he could have bagged the hat trick. So it's just one of those ones where it's just unlucky, and on another day he could have had 50 points. But yeah, the injury is definitely a concern, and if you are an owner, keep a close eye on that. And if you're not an owner, sit back and watch his price fall, and hopefully down to something with a 5 in front of it, and then we can feast later on in the season. Adam Pompey, 23 and 80 minutes. That is just Adam Pompey doing Adam Pompey things, and he should not be in your team. Jake Simpkin just covered the minutes that Jazz didn't play at hooker. He's not someone I would be looking at as long as he is on the bench. Halasima, and I'll go over Weimauger at the same time. Unless there's an injury in the Warriors pack, these guys are going to get the absolute crumbs minutes, and if they're in your team, I'd be looking to move them to any other cash cow that looks like they're making money, because these guys are just going to be scoring you 10 to 20 points a game, unless we do get an injury in our pack mid-game. But if you're sitting around waiting for that, that's just not really optimal. So yeah, get those guys out of your team, as much as I hate to say it, because they are promising rookies, but they're just not going to get the minutes. It's just how he is. He doesn't put them on for very long. Dylan Walker, 26 minutes today. I think he was the one that lost out where Barnett and Fish got the extra minutes. So yeah, Dylan Walker, strong avoid. Don't even look at him while he is on the bench. Falalo, 9 points in 80 minutes. Yeah, you could definitely pick him as the rookie in this game. He made a few errors that benefited the Warriors, and I think Kohler will be back next week, so wouldn't be looking at him at all. And Corey Waddell just came on for the 15 minutes for the 8 points. So yeah, if he's in your team, then what are you doing? Alright, well, that was the Warriors versus Manly, and I'm looking forward to big 3 games tonight.